Level 1, the Blue Lantern. You are 14 years old. You live on the 16th floor of a housing block in Sham Shui Po, Kowloon. Your school attendance drops below 60% this term. A 19-year-old named Arkung notices you outside a noodle shop. He calls you Silo, little brother. He buys you a bowl of wonton noodles. He doesn't ask for the money back. 3 days later, he hands you a sealed envelope. You never open the envelope. You walk it 2 blocks to a mahjong parlor. He pays you 200 Hong Kong dollars for the walk. Within a month, you run 5 envelopes a week. Kung sends you to collect tea money from a fruit stall owner. The owner is 3 weeks late on payment. He refuses to pay. Kung tells you to take something off his counter. You take the digital scale. 4 nights later, 3 older boys pull you into an alley behind the estate. No warning. 60 seconds. 6 fists. No rules. Your ribs throb. Your lip splits against your teeth. 1 boy holds a metal pole. You don't swing back at him. You never raise a hand against anyone above you in the chain, even during a test. You cry in front of a Kung afterward. He tells you crying in front of a brother marks you as weak. He almost cuts you loose on the spot. Instead, he tells you you've earned a number. Not yet. First, the lodge. You carry envelopes off the courier route. You carry tea money off a stall owner's counter. You carry a bruise you hide from your mother. You carry a number that hasn't been given to you yet. The ceremony is set for 3 nights from now, in a shed behind a textile workshop. Level 2, the 49. You kneel on a concrete floor in front of an altar to Guan Yu. 3 sticks of incense burn beside a bowl of rice wine. A rooster sits bound at the base of the altar. The incense master cuts its throat over a brass bowl. He mixes the blood with wine, sugar, cinnabar powder. You drink it. You recite 36 oaths line by line, repeating after the incense master. 1 oath swears death by 5 thunderbolts for betraying a sworn brother. You don't believe in thunder gods. You believe in what happens to informants. You crawl beneath an arch of crossed swords held by 2 red poles. You raise 3 fingers on your left hand to seal the oath. You receive the number 49. You're placed under a red pole running a 15-man unit. Within 2 weeks, you run debt collection on a noodle shop owner, $4,000 behind on a loan. Within 6 weeks, you move packages of ketamine between 2 housing estates. You never know the weight, only the drop point. You get arrested for the first time at 17. Loitering charge. Released after 11 hours. No real damage. The unit suspects a soldier named Tin of feeding information to the Organised Crime and Triad Bureau. Code 25. Snitch. Your red pole orders 4 of you to bring Tin to a stairwell. You hold his arms. 2 others go to work. You don't ask if it's true. Tin doesn't come back to the estate. You learn the number 49. You learn the route through 1 noodle shop. You learn to move ketamine without asking the weight. You learn the silence that follows Tin's disappearance. Your red pole notices you didn't flinch. He marks you as 406 material. Level 3, the red pole. You are 22 years old. Your number is 426. You take command of a 15-man unit in a single ceremony. No fanfare. Just a handshake, a new number. The ex-old term for your role translates to fighter. You run protection collections across 40 stalls in a wet market. You carry a meat cleaver wrapped in a market towel. Standard hardware for street-level enforcement in Hong Kong gang violence. A rival lodge moves into 3 of your blocks. They undercut your protection rates by half. You call in a meeting of your 15 soldiers in a closed restaurant after midnight. You assign weapons. You assign targets. You assign a fallback route if police show up. The clash happens behind a parking structure. 11 against 15, cleavers and steel pipes, 90 seconds of contact. 2 of your soldiers go to the hospital. 1 rival soldier loses 3 fingers. You take a cleaver wound across your forearm. 11 stitches, no anesthesia on site. The Organised Crime and Triad Bureau raids your usual meeting restaurant 4 days later. You lose the location. You lose 2 weeks of revenue. Your unit identifies a second informant, a runner named Phi, after a shipment gets intercepted at the Guangdong border. You don't hold his arms this time. You give the order. A white paper fan from the senior ranks visits you afterward. He's impressed you kept your soldiers controlled during the raid fallout. He asks if you've ever thought about the finance side of the lodge. Level 4, the straw sandal. You are 27 years old. Your number is 32. You step back from street violence into logistics. Your job is liaison, the bridge between units that don't trust each other. You shuttle messages between your lodge's dragonhead and 3 red poles who refuse to meet face to face. You shuttle a bribe schedule across the Guangdong border crossing. $6,000 a month. Paid in cash inside a folded newspaper. You shuttle fake employment papers of 2 soldiers headed to a contact in Macau. You shuttle a name you're forbidden to write down. You organize a sit-down between your unit and the rival lodge from the parking structure clash. 5 years of bad blood brokered over tea in a private room above a dim sum restaurant. The meeting collapses in its 9th minute. Someone the rival lodge brought wasn't supposed to be there. A gun comes out. 2 bodyguards die in the private room. One of them you recruited yourself at 16. You walk out the back stairwell with blood on your shoe. You don't know who fired first. Your dragon head blames you for the venue choice. You lose your cut of the border bribery route for 2 months as punishment. A senior white paper fan pulls you aside afterward. He tells you logistics without numbers is just running errands. He offers to teach you the ledgers. Level 5, the white paper fan. You are 32 years old. Your number is 415. You move from the street side of the lodge into the finance side. Your first assignment is the books for a restaurant front in Mongkok. Cash from extortion routes flows through the kitchen receipts before it ever touches a bank. You register 2 shell companies under names that aren't yours. A third company holds property titles only, never touches cash directly. You run the lodge's loan sharking ledger, interest compounding weekly, 4% on every unpaid balance. You negotiate a court date delay for a soldier facing trial, $6,000 to the right clerk. The Independent Commission Against Corruption opens an investigation 2 streets over, unrelated to your lodge. Close enough to force a full restructure of the books overnight. Your bookkeeper, a man named Suan, who's worked the ledgers for 9 years, gets caught skimming $11,000 off the loan sharking accounts. You don't report him to the police. 2 soldiers break 3 of his fingers in the restaurant's back kitchen, after hours. The lodge could charge you as an office holder, under the society's ordinance. 15 years. $1 million fine if any of this surfaces in court. Police raid the restaurant 6 days later on an unrelated tip. The documents are already gone, moved to a storage unit in Suan Wan the night before. The lodge's quarterly revenue drops 12% from the restructuring. The Dragonhead trusts you enough afterward to hand you a new front, a junket-style operation feeding cash into a Macau casino account. You move cash through a restaurant kitchen. You move it through 3 shell companies. You move it across the Macau ferry route into a casino junket account. You move it far enough that no single ledger shows the whole picture. The incense master asks for your help preparing the next initiation. He's getting old. He needs hands he trusts near the altar. Level 6, the Vanguard. You are 37 years old. Your number is 438. Law enforcement analysts believe the Vanguard holds more real power than the title suggests. Sometimes the final word belongs to the Vanguard, not the Dragonhead. Your job is recruitment. The old recruiting grounds are drying up. Arcades that used to be full of dropouts now sit half empty. School truancy numbers are down. You shift recruitment to encrypted chat groups instead of street corners. You set up a protector chain, 3 layers deep. A recruit reports to a protector. The protector reports to a grand protector. The grand protector reports to you. Since the 2020 national security law, mainland authorities cooperate more closely with Hong Kong police. Any recruit who talks now carries more risk than before. You train new 49s in hand signals and numeric codes that fewer of them will ever use in person. A rival lodge's Vanguard starts recruiting in your territory, a housing estate you've controlled for 6 years. You order 2 soldiers to find his recruiter and break the operation. They find him outside a noodle shop. He doesn't recruit there again. An undercover organised crime and triad bureau officer infiltrates one of your recruitment drives. He poses as a 19-year-old dropout for 3 months. You don't catch him until he's already logged 11 names. Police arrest 7 of your newest recruits in one night. The cohort you spent 4 months building is gone before a single one of them takes the oath. Even with the loss, the protector chain still nets the lodge 20 new soldiers that quarter, more than the old street method ever pulled in. You recruit through arcades that used to be full. You recruit through encrypted chat groups instead. You recruit through a protector chain 3 layers deep. You recruit fewer numbers every year the old way dies. The incense master's hands shake now when he holds the ceremonial sword. He asks you to start learning the ritual side. Level 7, the incense master. You are 43 years old. Your number is 438. You're the keeper of the 36 oaths now, the one who decides who's ready for the altar. You vet every blue lantern before they are allowed to kneel for initiation. You run a ceremony in a shed behind a workshop in a working class district. 6 candidates, 1 rooster, an altar de guan yu set with incense and rice wine. You teach the Arch of Swords. You teach the 36 oaths line by line. You teach the blood-wine mixture's exact ratio, wine to blood to cinnabar powder. You teach a ritual the courts are actively trying to make irrelevant. Younger soldiers increasingly skip the ceremony entirely, joining through a casual verbal agreement instead of a formal oath. You see it as a slow death of everything that gives the lodge its discipline. Midway through the sixth candidate's oath, 4 organised crime and triad bureau officers breach the shed door. Officers recover the altar cleaver, a butcher-style blade. They recover joss paper, the bowl, the incense sticks. 3 candidates are arrested before they finish a single oath. That means they can't be charged as members yet. You left the shed 11 minutes earlier to retrieve more incense from a van outside. You're not in the building when the raid hits. The lodge loses an entire incoming class in one night. As an office holder under the Society's ordinance, you'd have faced 15 years. $1 million fine too if you'd been caught inside. The Deputy Mountain Master calls you 2 days later. He's run the lodge's daily operations for 11 years. He says he needs a right hand who doesn't panic. He offers you the job. Level 8, the Deputy Mountain Master. You are 49 years old. Your number is 438. You run the lodge's daily operations now, 6 red pole cells across Hong Kong and Macau. You oversee a VIP room inside a Macau casino, collecting debts from high rollers. Mainland nationals are capped at $50,000 in capital outflow a year. You offer them gambling loans on the Macau side instead, no cap, no questions. You manage a heroin route from the Golden Triangle through Yunnan into a Hong Kong container port. 2 red poles fight over a vacant territory in Tsuen Wan. One refuses to step down after the Dragonhead rules against him. You order 3 of his loyal soldiers beaten. Demoted 2 as a message. A shipment of 30 kilograms gets seized at the border 2 weeks later. You trace the leak to a courier who'd been skimming product on the side. He doesn't get a beating. He gets removed from the lodge instead. Permanently. Not through the police. Your Macau casino partner threatens to cancel the VIP room contract after a wave of police scrutiny. You negotiate a higher cut for the casino, 22% instead of 18%. The contract holds. Lodge revenue still grows 18% this year despite the seized shipment. You run 6 red pole cells across 2 cities. You run a VIP room inside a Macau casino. You run a heroin route through Yunnan into the harbour. You run numbers no soldier below you ever sees in full. The Dragonhead is 61 now. He tells you he's stepping back within the year. He names you as his successor. Level 9, the Dragonhead. You are 56 years old. Your number is 489. The ceremony making you Mountain Master happens quietly. 4 witnesses. No public gathering anti-triad surveillance would notice. You register as the owner of a small congee restaurant, Hell Kowloon, your official occupation on paper. Privately, you control roughly 800 members spread across a dozen blocks. You meet 2 rival Dragonheads over a private dinner to redraw territory lines that have held since the 1980s. You fund a film loosely based on your own rise. A known move among lodge bosses chasing legitimacy and recruitment appeal. The production team asks to close a public road for a key scene. Permission gets denied. You close it anyway for 2 hours, no warning given to traffic police. One of the rival Dragonheads sees your growing influence as a threat. He orders a hit. A car bomb detonates outside your restaurant during a slow Tuesday lunch service. You take shrapnel across your left shoulder, 11 stitches, no fatalities. You retaliate within a week, striking 3 of his lieutenants across 2 districts. The retaliation triggers a wider conflict. Local newspapers report a spike in organised crime violence citywide. The Organised Crime and Triad Bureau opens a dedicated task force on your lodge specifically. The handover to Chinese sovereignty is 2 years away. Nobody in your circle knows how tolerant the new administration will be. The war ends in your favour. The rival's territory folds into yours. Lodge membership grows past 1,000. You hide a restaurant that loses money every month on paper. You hide 800 members across a dozen blocks. You hide negotiations with 2 other Dragonheads over dinners nobody writes down. You hide a city's most dangerous lodge behind a cash register. A contact reaches out about expanding into Southeast Asia, into the Chinese diaspora abroad. A real cross-border empire beyond anything you've run inside one city. Level tit, the cross-border syndicate head. You are 63 years old. You expand beyond Hong Kong and Macau into Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar. You build a network across 3 border economic zones, recruiting old lodge allies into a more respectable structure. You found a cultural heritage association as the network's public face, promoting language schools and trade ties abroad. You're appointed to a regional political advisory council, a seat that buys you legitimacy nobody questions out loud. The network branches into online gambling and crypto exchanges, financial flows in the tens of millions annually. You run cells in 3 countries. You run a cultural association as your shield. You run accounts in currencies you don't bother converting anymore. You run further from extradition every year, until there's nowhere left to run. In 2020, the US Treasury sanctioned a different 14K linked Macau boss for running a similar network. You read about it. You recognise every line of the playbook. 2 years later, a foreign government freezes your own overseas accounts, $40 million locked. Mainland Chinese authorities increase pressure under cross-border organized crime cooperation frameworks. A lieutenant running your Myanmar operation gets arrested. He starts cooperating with international investigators within a week. You retreat deeper into a border economic zone, past the reach of any single country's extradition treaty. An international warrant is issued for your arrest across 4 jurisdictions. Within 6 months, you lose control of 2 of your largest cells. Splinter groups form, run by men who used to call you Dilo. A joint raid hits your compound at the edge of the zone. 40 people are arrested. Your remaining assets are confiscated. You go into hiding, no passport you can use, no city you can safely enter. Alone in a small room above a shuttered shop, you watch through a cracked window. A teenager gets pulled aside outside a noodle stall. An older boy buys him noodles. He doesn't ask for the money back. The cycle continues.